Thanks to the support as a channel member, Glenn Patrick. Well, folks, our success criteria for today's episode is very simple. We just want to see Tom Best score in a Wembley shirt one more time. Hello and welcome to part 83 of Wembley to Wembley. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, it's our final two games of our first season in the National League. We're at home against Wigan and away against Accrington Stanley. Since you were last with me, as you can see from the league table, it's been kind of lower mid-table form for the second half of the season. It didn't feel exciting enough to come back and show you. Hence, we've gone through and played as many games as we have. We've had a few spells where things weren't going very well. We've had a few spells where things were going really well. And it kind of rotates between the two. I feel like we're currently on the back end of a spell that went really, really well. We're actually unbeaten in 6 matches, but we drew the last 2 of them. And I suspect we're going to lose against Wigan. And then who knows what might happen against Accrington Stanley. But it doesn't really matter. Because if we have a look at the league table, you can see that we have 2 games to go. We're in 15th place, 59 points. So well clear of our pre-season target of 50 points. And 17 points clear of Torquay, who are at the top of the relegation zone. So no other way of looking at it. It's been an incredibly good season for us. A team that was supposed to finish rock bottom by a million miles. The media still think we're going to. We have no money. I mean, if we compare our financial situation to the rest of the league, I know we did this at the start of the season, but it's fun to do it all the time. We have a salary per annum of £117,000, the next highest in the league. Boreham Wood on 251,000. That's more than double ours. So even the poorest teams in the league, we've got less than half the money to spend on wages that they have. If we compare us to the teams towards the top of the table, you can see Altrincham, over £2 million spent on wages. Northampton spending 10 times what we are. Chester spending 10 times what we are. The fact that we've just not been relegated without winning a game is sensational work. There is one cloud on this sunny horizon, though, and that is the return of Tom Best hasn't quite gone the way I hoped it would. He's lost it. He's done. I don't really get how someone can fall off to the level that he's fallen off. To be fair to him, he's not yet started a game since his return, but he has come off the bench 5 times and been completely ineffectual. But we're gonna play him. We're gonna start him for these last 2 games. We want to see him score in a Wembley shirt one more time, and then we're gonna get him doing his bus driver license, and he can be our coach driver for the rest of the save. And we'll just let him work in the club shop, drive the coach, just keep him around the place. Just do £25 worth of work a week. But I suspect after today, we'll never see Tom Best play football again. So please score a goal, Tom. I'm not asking a lot. So this is your team for the game against Wigan. It's Parini in goal, a back four of Salinas, Carter, Wiles and Fletcher. Matthews at the base of the midfield, Scowen and Gustafson ahead of him. Boris on the left, Best on the right, and Larkin up front. Let's get the team submitted. Let's cross all of our fingers and hope that Tom Best can do what Tom Best does one more time. Although, to be fair, as it stands at the moment, I think his last goal for the club was that one in the playoffs a couple of years ago, which was quite a Tom Best moment. So if he gets a tap in against Accrington Stanley away as his final contribution to the club, it almost spoils the legacy a little bit. But then, let's face it, we've absolutely ruined his legacy by bringing him back when he just wasn't good enough to be here. And we all got a little bit nostalgic about it, I think. Although, I mean, if you look at the league position, the league form before and after Best, there's an argument to be made that bringing a legitimate club icon back to the club just raised the feel-good factor around the club enough to allow us to kind of start climb up the table. When he came back in, we looked certain of relegation. Although he's not really been played, he does lead up a mentoring group. He has reassumed a high position on the club player hierarchy. You know, maybe he is making a difference off the pitch that he can't make on the pitch anymore just because of that Tom Best aura. We've got a corner here. Cross comes in looking for Hayden Carter at the far post, and he does manage to connect with it. It's 1-1, 5 minutes in. It's all kicking off just after kick-off in this football match. It's a good corner from Salinas. Far post in swinger. I've decided at this point, at this very late stage of FM24, I've decided the far post in swinger is my favourite. So obviously we're going to mix things up and do an out swinger, which, I mean, can I just point out, I've complained about this a lot. I don't think that's on my instructions. So we've got And what's that? A near post in swinger, a far post in swinger. Okay, we do have a far post out swinger on there. I'll let him off. I thought that third one was the near post short corner. I guess at some point I've decided doing a pervert corner in non-league isn't the best plan. At some point that out swinger will be replaced by an in swinger. But I certainly like the far post in swinger best of all, I think. I've just become, after probably over 2,000 hours on FM24 now in this new set piece creator, I've finally decided the near post one that was so effective on previous versions of FM, it's so rare, certainly at this level, so rarely beats the first man. See, I'm getting choked up about it. It's not the fact that my fruit and fibre cereal is still tickling on my dangly bit at the back of my throat. It is the fact that I'm emotional. I am emotional about the fact that the near post in swinging corner isn't what it used to be, but the far post one, still a thing of absolute beauty. 1-1 halfway through the first half. You may have noticed there's been absolutely no sign of Tom Best yet. I promise you, he is on the pitch. Look, there he is. He is playing. He just hasn't been involved in a highlight yet. There he is, number 10, Tom Best. Maybe we just need to give him the number 7 shirt back. He is under contract for next season. We'll give him the number 7 shirt back. Obviously, it's his shirt forever. Even when he is just the bus driver. But maybe that'll rejuvenate him. Maybe the pressure of being the number 10 is a little bit too much for him. Although I would argue, as an older gentleman, number 7 is far cooler than number 10. I don't know what the obsession with the number 10 is these days. Everybody knows the number 7 is much cooler. But what do I know? I'd much rather have the number 7. And I used to play centre-back or central midfield, and I would happily wear the number 7 in either of those positions. It would be great. Right, let's do a football, shall we? I'm going to offer some encouragement to my boys, even though it's entirely ineffective and does nothing. It makes me feel better. There's Tom Best! Look at him go! Ow. Well, we've seen him do something. He did immediately give the ball away and almost cost us a goal, but at least there's your confirmation he is there. Please, Tom, please do something. I've built an entire episode around you. We have nothing else to play for this final couple of matches of the season, but I can't just not show them. We haven't done an episode since Christmas. We have to show that something has happened in the second half of the season, or people are like, hey, Kev, you look like you're going to get relegated. How have you finished mid-table? Well, this is how. We just kind of sometimes are all right, sometimes less so. I think we're just a mid-table team now. Most of the players are out of contract at the end of the season, I think. I haven't actually checked. They usually are, although now I think of it, I think a lot of them came in the summer on 2-year deals. Yeah, a lot of them are in on 2-year deals. So it's actually not going to be the most turnovery summer that we've ever had. I mean, even some of the boys that in normal circumstances absolutely wouldn't get a new contract, like Bonis, he's here for another year. So unless someone wants to take him off us, or we get a boost of pennies, then it's going to be quite a similar squad coming into next year. I think we just need to add in the right loanees. That's one thing we haven't really managed to get the really high quality loanees this time. We got a couple. I mean, the 2 fullbacks that we got have been pretty good. But we haven't got anyone who's really, really special in on loan. And if we can get 2 or 3 of them, I think the core of this squad might be enough for a playoff push. Look, Tom Best just retained possession there, and he's in. Tom Best has got him behind the back 4. He crosses. I don't understand Salinas with the cross now. Gus, get Best on the penalty. This might be too late, but, you know, where is he? Get him on the penalty. It might be too late, but get him on the penalty for goodness sake. Yes, Tom Best taking a penalty. This is the wrong way for this to work. And if he misses it, I'm going to be distraught. But Tom Best for Wembley has scored. Episode mission accomplished. Tom Best has scored in a Wembley shirt once again. And who knows, maybe that's all he needs to spark him back to life. And it is worth pointing out as well, I said sometimes we're good, sometimes we're not great. We are playing against Wigan here. For those doubting Thomases amongst you, we're playing Wigan, who are second in the league, and we're beating them. On our day, we can be quite good. We've got the basis of a half-decent football team here. And that's very exciting. Right, we did sign an old man to play as a backup striker as well, by the way, Ashley Clark. We've not really seen very much of him. We just needed numbers. So there you go. He's a number. He's going to come on for Larkin, who's not really done anything today. And we'll see if Clark can maybe. I mean, maybe it's just loads of 2-star old men going to win us the game today. It's going to be Best and Clark. But certainly a proper striker is number one priority for summer transfers. Scowen, who's been moved out onto the left wing again, and he's just so full of running. I love Scowen. Scowen with the cross, and Ashley Clark is there. 17th goal of the season. Excuse me for a moment, boys and girls. Is what of the what? Ashley Clark. I didn't realise he'd got all those goals this year. He's played a full season for Bowers and Pitsy in the Isthmian League. Got 16 goals. Why have they released him before the end of the year when he scored 16? I don't understand. But there you go. That's his 17th goal of the season. Remember in Match and Shoot magazine, when we were all kids, when the people my age were kids, those of you who are too young to be watching, quite frankly, I like What's a Magazine. But back when I was a kid, we would get magazines called Match and Shoot, and they would have the top goal scorers in there. And one of my favourite things was when players moved clubs midway through the season, and they'd be like, I think we had Ken Charlery at Peterborough, who'd scored loads of goals for us and then went and transferred to Birmingham in the mid-90s, early to mid-90s, and immediately became one of the top goal scorers in the old second division, first division, whatever it would have been at the time, with a little asterisk next to him, and then in brackets, like 19 of these 20 goals were for Peterborough United in the fourth division. And I liked that, so I'd like to think what I'm getting at is Ashley Clark should be on the National League top goal scorers list. We've signed a superstar. Right, we're going to take off. Have we not got any midfielders on the bench? We haven't. Let's bring on Hayball, who's been one of the biggest victims of this changing system that we've had, because he was probably our best player last year. We even made him our captain when McLennan left the club. But he's not really enough of a defender to be a right back and not really enough of a winger to be a winger. He is the perfect wing back. And we stopped playing wing backs, and it's caused problems for him. And also Hartson, who's down on the bench as well. Was that his name? Hartman, sorry, not Hartson, who we signed in the summer, was probably the big signing of the summer. Again, a perfect wing back on the left-hand side. We've got two really, really good wing backs now, but they don't really fit in anywhere else. A few people in the comments have suggested play him at full back and then make one of the midfielders a half back and effectively play with a three. And I don't really want to do it, because if we're going to do that, I mean, look how good Hayball is coming out of in the attacking positions. He's brilliant. But then his end product isn't quite that of a winger, although he's done quite well there. But yeah, if I was going to play with flying fullbacks, two centre backs and a half back, I may as well just play with the three at the back. And that wasn't working. That's why we changed from it in the first place. So I think it's important that we have the extra body in midfield. Hence, we play our midfielders as midfielders. But we've done really, really well here against Wigan. I just want to make sure that is on record. Oh, God, I thought the game was crashing. 3-1 up against one of the best teams in the league. That would have been blooming typical if the game had crashed there, because we're deep into this save file now. It's started to become quite an unwieldy save file. And I imagine we're going to get to the point where it starts to become a little bit unstable. And we might start seeing some crashes, because usually, if you think something like non-league to legends, usually by this point, I've won my third Champions League and we're wrapping things up. We're not even in the Football League yet. People wanted a long save. You're welcome. We've beaten Wigan. This is a great result. I'm a happy little chappy, even though I've still got a bit of fruit and fibre tickling on my dangly bit. But nothing an extra sip of coffee can't solve for me. Today's mug, by the way. Apparently I'll show you mugs now. Today's mug. A multicoloured giraffe that's seen better days. That's what dishwashers do to cheap printed mugs, boys and girls. They ruin them. Don't put your good mugs in the dishwasher. But 3-1 up. We've beaten Wigan. Lovely old stuff. Tom Best has scored again. And could we even finish in the top half here? Oh, my word. Not only could we finish in the top half, the team we could push down into the bottom half would be the Wobblers. New mission for the episode. Beat Accrington Stanley. Finish top half, finish above Northampton. So final game of the season, we are making a few changes, even though we still would like to finish above Northampton. I think it's important to look at some of the fringies going into the summer. We did sign this guy recently, Evan Rowlands, as a goalkeeper to compete for our starting spot. He'd been playing with Leamington last year in the National League North, so he's a pretty decent keeper. We had a bit of a squad mutiny where they wanted a better backup keeper, so we went and got one, and then haven't really used him. We've also got Nigel Hughes back from his loan at Beckenham, so I guess we have a little look at him. He's a useful player to have around on £30 a week, and like a lot of the squad, is under contract for next season as well. So we need to work out who we're going to keep, who we're going to try and get rid of. Likewise, Charlie Robinson. We've got Young back in midfield. Damon, who's another one who would have been a great left wing back for us, has struggled to really find a home anywhere else in the team. And we'll give Bonis one more try playing as centre forward. And of course, Tom Best is in the team. Let's see if Tom Best can score from open play one more time. We'd love to see one more proper Tom Best goal. We want to see him get in behind his fullback, charge towards the goal, and just thunder it past the goalkeeper, and then he can retire and start running the pie shop at the ground permanently, and he'll love it. He'll have a lovely time. And I tell you what, Tom, to sweeten the deal, I'll give you £35 a week to drive the bus and make the tea and do all those bits and bobs. So a massive pay rise for you as well. I'm nothing if not a generous man, but I think he is done as a footballer. Unless he shows me otherwise here. I thought they were losing a fullback there. I'd switch him to that side, even though he doesn't play on the left. I'd switch him over there. Let him run at the side where they've got no fullback. But unfortunately, they weren't quite violent enough to get sent off. And they've got in behind here, and Rowlands didn't really look like he was very interested in it. I mean, to be fair, it went wide. He kept himself big, and he is the best player on the pitch so far. I've seen nothing to suggest why that would be, but clearly he's done some lovely things off camera. Hughes looking for the long throw, finds Robinson, who's won the penalty. You know what that means, boys and girls. Bear with me. Tom Best, Tom Best. There we go. That's the Tom Best song. You might not have heard that before. I sing that off camera. That's my favourite thing. So Tom Best to make it 2 from 2. Best is back, everybody. Tom Best, for goodness sake. I'm glad that didn't happen with the first one, but he now can't even score penalties. What has become of that boy? Right, far post in swinger. Remember, we like them. As it stands at the moment, we're up to 11th in the league as well, so we have moved above Northampton. Gustafsson, he looked like he'd wellied that, but it actually went straight at the goalkeeper, unfortunately. But Northampton, I guess, are losing. How have we moved above them? I don't understand. Right, they've moved back above us. Excellent. Rowlands with the goal kick. It's Bonis tries to flick it on, but doesn't get anywhere near it. And now Salinas, who's ended up really growing into this role over the course of the season. I questioned him when he first came in. He's actually a pretty good left back. Not someone we'll be able to sign permanently or loan next season. So it's probably the last we'll see of him. Damon's in behind here. If he can find Best's in space. Give it to Tom Best. Bonis, why give it to him? Best is there and unmarked, and he hasn't given it to him. And it's heartbreak for all concerned. Corner now for Accrington Stanley, and it's headed clear. Damon struggling with pace to keep up with the Accrington guy, and they're going to rebuild their attack, even though we cleared it from the corner. They've got in behind Hughes. Hughes is supposed to be the quick defender who doesn't let stuff like that happen. He'd played a perfect offside trap. Why have I got a little cowlick going on today? It must be haircut o'clock. Goodness me. Right, still 0-0. Come on, boys. Where are we in the league? We're still below Northampton. That will never do. We enjoy being better than Northampton. We're a bigger club than them, comfortably. We need to prove it in the league, though. Robinson plays it across to Hughes, and now with Robinson again, who's looking for options. Young has got a huge amount of space here to run into. Gustafsson just kind of scuffs it on because he realises it's Bonis ahead of him, so what's the point? And now Accrington have got in behind because Hable, once again, charging forward at right back, playing as a right wing back in a system that doesn't use wing backs, and he just is a liability defensively, but so much fun on the attack. And if we were a better team, obviously we could get away with that, but we're not. We need our defenders to defend. It's revolutionary. Right, Best's in space again if Damon can find him. It's like he's got blinkers on there. He doesn't notice anyone on the other side of the pitch. And he's given the ball away again there. And now Accrington running at us, running through us really, as if we don't have any players. And they've fortunately been a little bit wasteful with the end product there. It's 0-0 at half-time. We'd obviously take it. This would be like, it must be 8 games unbeaten to end the season, which is a jolly nice way to end the season. But you know what would be jolly nicer? Tom Best scoring the winner to finish us above Northampton. That'd be a thing of beauty. Not Hable. Hable's the right back. Rowlands has made a good save there, I think. He's actually looking half decent. We might have stumbled across having 2 quite good goalkeepers here. which is a nice situation to be in. If we can replicate that throughout the 11 and have two quite good options in every position, I mean, it's not realistic with the money that we've got. We're paying Rowlands £140 a week to be our backup goalkeeper, which is an enormous amount of money. He's probably one of the highest paid players on the pitch right now. But like I say, we had to get rid of a player mutiny. I think you saw on the schedule at the start of the episode, we had a run of good form, then a run of terrible form, then a run of good form again. The terrible form was while the players were kicking off because they wanted better strength in depth at goalkeeper. And as soon as we signed Rowlands, we turned the form back round again. So we're paying him £140 a week basically to keep half the team calm, even though he doesn't play. So it's similar to the Best situation. We've made a couple of signings there that through off the pitch shenanigans seem to have turned the club around, which I guess is nice. Now we just need to sign a player who's independently wealthy. You can come in and pad out our bank account, and we'll get to the point where we don't even really need to worry about what's going on the pitch. Oh, Tom, this is not how your final game for the club was supposed to be. Let's try him up front. We're going to bring Undong on, who's actually been quite good. He's been getting better over the course of the second half of the season. We've only used him a few times, but when we have used him, he's looked quite lively on that right-hand side. So he might be one for the future. And he's probably suffered more than anybody from Best arriving, because just as he was starting to break into the team, we brought in Best and he kind of moved back above him in the pecking order. But Undong does look useful. So let's give him a few minutes. I'm not taking Best off without him scoring, or at least getting a rating above a 5.9. Do something. Everyone said Tom Best is a striker. Play him in his best position. Well, here you go. He ends his Wembley career as a striker, putting out an absolute stinker with a missed penalty. And do we take him off and bring Clark on? Do we care enough about this match to try and get back into it and finish above Northampton? Or is it more important that we give Best every opportunity to score a goal from open play? I think we all know the answer to that question. And it's going to be Robinson taking a free kick. Best is lurking on the edge of the area. And there is Undong. Like I said, dangerous. Undong plays it into Matthews. Matthews turns, shoots straight at the keeper. And it's a corner. And can we do a goal? Look, Best is completely unmarked on the edge of the area. Just do a shenanigans corner. Give it to Tom Best. Defenders, nod it back to him. There is Best. Plays it back into the area. I mean, it wasn't the worst touch he could have had in the circumstances. And now Hayball just gives the ball away. It's frustrating, that's for sure. We're going to go attacking. We've got one more substitution to make. We're going to bring on Hartman. We're going to go 2 flying wing backs. Because why not? You know what? Let's do what everyone said to do. Swap them, make him a halfback, and swap them around. There you go. We're basically back playing a 3-5-2 here with the 2 guys who were supposed to be the flying wing-backs for the season, both on the pitch as flying wing-backs. Is it going to make a difference? Probably not. Has anyone who's come into the team today showered themselves with glory? Not at all. Maybe Rowlands. Rowlands has had a half-decent game. Tom Best, though. I think this confirms to the comment section that Best is done. There's been rumblings since he left, and I would like to get it on record. I didn't choose to get rid of Tom Best. We couldn't renew his contract. He wanted too much money. I did everything I could to try and keep him at the time, so I never wanted him to leave. But now I think the calls that we had to bring him back, I think we can probably stop that now, can't we? He's no longer the best. I was so tempted to cause a riot and change his nickname to Tom Not the Best, but that is no way for that man's career to end. He ends as one of 3 club icons with me and former manager and former player Ian Bates. It looks like I'm going to be the one who becomes a legend, Tom. Unless he becomes a legendary bus driver for us. We shall see, because that is his new role. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.